Good afternoon. Usually where there's a voice from heaven, but today I was told I get to be the voice from heaven, so there you go. Before we pray today, I wanted to do a little public service announcement. It is time for Franciscan Values Award nominations. If you don't know what I'm talking about, reach out to me. If you do know what I'm talking about, look in a glance. The past two issues for the Indianapolis campus, and I know the last one for the Donaldson campus had the link, and I'm sure it'll be in this week's Donaldson one as well. So please nominate faculty, staff, and students for those prestigious awards. This year, I wanted to take a brief look back at this year. We're ending the first month of 2025. And I just wanted to look at mention a couple of things that were significant in 2024, both challenges and blessings. During 2024, the Marian community and the world said goodbye to some great people. Daniel Felicetti, from Marian University president from 1989 to 1999, passed away. Dr. Lauren Bertacci, the director of the Exercise and Sports Science program, passed away. Sister Monica Zori, former math professor. Jimmy Carter, the 39th president of the United States, who was committed to Habitat for Humanity. And we also lost countless loved ones who left their footprints in our hearts. We also said hello to many people and new experiences. Lots of babies were born into the Marian University families. We met new friends, new colleagues, new classmates and students. And we said hello, or are going to be saying hello, to the new public juridic person, the Franciscan Third Order University Alliance, that was approved by the Vatican last summer. We are not the same as we were a year ago. We are not the same as we will be in 2026. Yet our God is with us, and we are called to be a blessing to each other and to our world. The prayer I chose for today is a prayer from Jan Richardson, who's one of my favorite poets, and it's called Blessing the Way. So remembering that we are in the presence of God, and God is always in our presence, let us pray. With every step you take, the blessing rises up to meet you. It has been waiting long ages for you. Look close, and you can see the layers of it, how it has been fashioned by those who walked this road before you, how it has been created of nothing but their determination and their dreaming, how it has taken its form from an ancient hope that drew them forward and made a way for them when no way could be seen. Look closer, and you will see this blessing is not finished, that you are part of the path it is preparing, that you are how this blessing means to be a voice within the wilderness and a welcome for the way. We ask this in your Son's name. Amen. And I now have the privilege to introduce or call forth to the podium Toby McClamrock, who's the president of the Board of Trustees.
Thank you. It's a beautiful prayer. So I think I can speak on behalf of all of the Board of Trustees to say just that, simply that, what an honor it is to serve this institution at this time of such tremendous growth, and success. The reason I'm here today is to make an important announcement about the stability and about the future and the leadership of our institution, of our university. The announcement is that at the December 2024 board meeting, just a month ago, we unanimously approved a contract between the university and President Elsener that calls for him to serve Marian University another 5 years. We all know that President Elsener is an outstanding leader, and the board thinks so too, right? I have often said to the president that I think one of his most important qualities is how he studies and understands the external marketplace. He looks at our neighborhood, our community, our city, our state, the Midwest, and he thinks about the needs and the demands of the larger community. And then what he's done such a nice job of doing, at least in the minds of the board, is positioning Marian to meet the needs of that external marketplace, to meet the needs of the community in a way that it benefits Marian and it benefits the community. The best evidence, of course, is that we've created a successful medical school, successful engineering school, successful business school, and we're the only A-plus rated educator college in the state of Indiana. And it's no small matter that while enrollment is decreasing at many colleges and universities around the United States, it's no small matter that in that time frame that he's been the president, our undergraduate enrollment has more than doubled. So let's be clear, this is a team effort, right? Marian's been blessed with a highly talented and deeply committed faculty, but not just the faculty, the staff, the administrative team, the student body, and the board of trustees, all working together to create the Marian miracle. So we're incredibly thankful to President Elsener, with the support of his wife, Beth, and his family, and it is quite a family. We're incredibly grateful that all of them together are making this commitment to our institution. So I thank all of you for your dedication to our vision, to our mission, to our values, in the incredibly positive and vibrant culture of Marian University. Please help me welcome President Dan Elsener.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That was very nice.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That was very kind of you. We should probably start with, oh yeah, he's up there. I did want to say something about a board of trustees. Most of you, I don't know why you would know what a board does or how important it's been to us, but if you look at the research around higher education around the world, and they point to the United States of America actually is a leader in higher ed. The research levels and what we do. And they've done a lot of research. Why is that? Why has America been so good in the higher ed sector? And a lot of people will point to how we govern higher ed in our country. We give a lot of authority to a lay board of trustees. By the way, I think you know they don't get paid. They actually pay to participate. Time, talent, and treasure, and they have a lot of talent. And ultimate responsibility for the institution quality, our brand, our standards, what we're about, the ultimate responsibility to make sure it's where it's supposed to be is with our board of trustees. We've had great leadership. Toby's a great chair, took over. You've served about 17 years in our board, took over as chair. So we're very, very fortunate here. We've had a string of board members and it's true yet today, that have been outstanding. Thanks for the applause. I looked over at Beth, she didn't applaud so there's probably something behind that. Anyway, I did want to add, I did want to highlight this. When I walk around campus, I think of Lauren a lot. Dr. Enneking and I were together when we hired Lauren, and he brought teaching in a faculty of a med school. He had a big research agenda. He was very aggressive. A lot of the progress we've made, he's had fingerprints on him. Dr. Felicetti, a lot of you don't know this, but the fountain and the amphitheater used to be a gravel parking lot, and that was the middle of our campus. And he served here about 10 years and worked hard, and he left Marian his will and all that kind of thing. That's a lot of years of service. Did a lot for us. I don't know if you know how much Dr. O'Day was big in getting the nursing. Look how big our nursing program is and all that it's done for the healthcare and community. She was many years at helping get that going, and she just died recently. And of course, Sister Monica, we had a nice remembrance. Thanks for all the faculty staff came to her remembrance. It was really quite powerful, and the students, etc. that spoke. Really appreciate it. Now, these folks left their legacy. We added a number. People are in and out. Of course, we add people. Some people you might interact with. I think I'll start with we've never had a chief human resource officer that put together a strategy for recruiting talent, developing leaders, making this a model workplace. But we have one now, Melissa Morris. Melissa, stand up so they see it, because you. A lot of experience in Catholic healthcare and other similar mission type of things. And then Greg Albright. Greg, people know Greg, but Greg's going to help us in the president's office move projects along, project management, keep things going. We have a lot of things going that need constant pushing. By the way, Dr. Britt actually took a week vacation. I was so proud of him. It's hard to get him to take vacation. The Center for the Personalized Learning Center, I always get that wrong, is something we're very proud of here. And we hired a director for the autism coordinator, and that's Jill Grande. Jill, stand up. And then Diane Wade, you're here. Would you stand up, please? And Diane, I know looks, now, if she looks particularly smart, it's because she's an alum of Marian compared to the others. No offense, you just didn't. You other three got here as fast as you could. She's just a little faster. Diane is very important to us because she's going to manage the marketing communication around the READ project, and I'll talk more about that. But she's going to need a lot of help from y'all, and I wanted to make sure when she called you or shows up your office, asks for some help, you know who they are and what they do. So we're on a journey to 2030 quite successfully. I was going to point out some accomplishments in the context real quickly. Let's celebrate for a moment what's going on here. On, I think, these are our power goals. They cut across these 3 strategic pillars. Up there's our mission statement. Key things to be a Catholic university, excellence in learning, research, scholarly activity, teaching, and then in the Franciscan liberal arts tradition. If you take this little area over here, let me talk a little bit about resources. Last year, the university, when we closed the books in the summer of 24, we added 18% to our net assets. Now, you know, accounting nerds, no offense, Mike Beadle, are going to be all excited about that. But basically, let me explain. Our assets, largely in our endowment went over $150 million this year, grew mightily. Now, if that was your home, you might have last year had a good year paying down your mortgage and putting more money in savings, your net assets would have grown. A lot of institutions of higher learning are having asset decreased. We have bonds that we sold to help us build the medical school and some other things. So the rating agencies gave us a very strong positive stability report. A lot of higher education institutions have bonds, and a lot of them have been downgraded or marked unstable. We're not one of them. So that's a big deal. We're at $425 million in fundraising against our $750 million goal. The first year in one calendar year, 24, we raised over $100 million in 1 year. Now that's cash, pledges, and irrevocable will commitments. That's remarkable. I mean, that would put us in the top 1 or 2 percentile type area. Our endowment per student, which is very important. How big your endowment is one thing, how much you have per student. In 2022, we only had $40,000 per student. We had a nice increase this year, went up over $62,000 per student. Just for some comparisons, that's a very interesting thing. So we're at 62. Butler University, about a year ago, I looked it up, they were at $49,000 per student. Purdue's at 63. Now they have a lot of students. They have and they get a little check from the state every year. So anyway, financially, while we didn't have a lot of extra cash laying around, you'll say, well, wait a minute. If your net assets go up, why don't you have a lot of cash laying around? It's because our endowment grew. We build buildings. Dr. Tran spends a lot of money. No offense. Stuff like that. But starting an engineering school is no small task. Now, 5-10 years from now, just like remember when we started the med school, that gets a little difficult, but then you have added mightily. We also are spending some money on occupational physical therapy, thanks be to God. And that's, by the way, where we're talking about progress moving forward, hiring people. We're moving towards accreditation processes. We're very happy with that. Our chairman talked about the CLIPS Educators College. We had a very important phone call yesterday, didn't we, Dr. K, with the State Secretary of Education personally thanking us for the remarkable progress we found in reading scores and you know what really warmed my heart? Some of the most dramatic increases are in populations in schools where children are too often being left behind. The science of reading works if you implement it with fidelity. And your Marian University, Eclipse Educators College, the outreach arm, the Center for Vibrant Schools, Bob, your leadership's been great. The Literacy Institute, we're making a big impact. And I don't know why, but the governor invited me down to his speech tonight. Maybe they'll say something about Marian. So I'll sit in the front row. Y'all watch TV. I'll be there, flat. So anyway, we're real excited about that. The Wood College of Osteopathic Medicine gets a name, major and mighty, magnanimous, beautiful gift. Med school, 100% placement on all of our residencies. It's pretty remarkable. Had some more good test scores there, by the way. If you go up and down the line on mission, we started the Sister Norma Rockledge Franciscan Institute here. We added Father Rick. I already gave you some recognition last time, so we don't give you too much, but good Lord will take care of you. The Latino Initiative is booming. We did that out of mission and access and success. We're number 2 ranked when the U.S. News World come out on social mobility. The 21st Century Scholar program is being very well run. Our athletic department is shining in terms of moving up retention, GPAs, academic All-Americans, great big old lineman, beautiful mind. We had in athletics a lot of championships, and we were represented at the Paris Olympics. I mean, this university just doesn't quit. I mentioned before, just worth mentioning again. By the way, and this is kind of a confession for y'all, we put out some beautiful publications. I'm going to talk to Brad about making sure department heads and deans, et cetera, get a copy delivered to them here and share it. You know how you put those little notes on, everybody reads it and passes it on. We do amazing things. I'm not too sure we know amongst ourselves what all was going on around here. But there's an article in here if you want to have shed some tears. Read this article about these women that graduated in the prison program. And about the one choked you up when she got to visit campus when she got out. It'll choke you up. But this is Marian University. It's a big deal. There's a lot of good news in all these. I always read every name of everybody that gave. Luckily, it takes a while. I'll say a prayer about every page for them. We have a lot. You read through there, it's pretty amazing. A lot of them are you good people. So, I mean, I could keep going here, and if I missed something that you did that's really great, forgive me. But I think it's good to start before we talk about the future. If we take stock, we're not on easy street, but boy, we're making progress, huh? In all those areas. Two, I wanted to highlight, this is our Jacob. Did you read the article about Jacob? Pagolani. He actually comes from Zimbabwe. A Christian group helped him get here and go to Ancilla College, and they have an agricultural program. Their soil, I've never been to Zimbabwe, but I guess it's not very good. So he learns vertical farming. They had chickens and rabbits and things, but he really wanted to grow crops beyond his little patch of ground, take care of his family, and I can sell them and help other people. So he's got this thing going on in Zimbabwe where we're feeding more people. I was just thinking about the reach of this university. It's pretty cool. So there's somebody in Zimbabwe that isn't hungry anymore. I like that. I hope you like it too. He says, there's no better university in the world than Marian University. This is a quote. Marian University is not only an institution of learning, to me, it's a family. Isn't that beautiful? So you sit down to eat tonight, think about our friend in Zimbabwe. Now here's a really big fish we caught. You ever read the gospel where they put the nets out and the nets start breaking? This might be one of those deals. But if it doesn't go well, we have Chris, and the board was real involved. I'll have plenty of cover on this deal. But this facility is 330,000 square feet and over 22 acres. It's a couple blocks down the street. We're working to get pathways and lit, and we have made tremendous progress. So we've received it from the state. We're the proud owners. We set up a legal entity to oversee it under the direction of our board, of course. We got a $25 million grant. That's nice. We got a workforce grant for $1 million, an economic development grant. We have an escrow account to help remodel it. To take down some old buildings. We just signed, not a memorandum of understanding, what do we call it with Vincent? A letter of intent, so Vincent's will come to the neighborhood. I could go on and on. But the issue isn't really about the building. By the way, there's some buildings there that are no longer useful that will come down. We're not going to use all that, okay? But we are going to use it as what we call READ, the Riverside Educational Innovation District. And we wrote in a proposal, the reason we're getting this money, if we could drive up the educational attainment in our neighborhood between Martin Luther King, Lafayette, 16th and 38th, wages will go up, employment goes up, stability in housing goes up, investments are made, and this formerly the area they called Millionaires Row is suddenly revived in partnership with the city. We had all the schools out here about a week ago. We had 2 weeks ago, I guess, beautiful meeting. We're signing contracts with them on teaching reading and coaching and teaching math. And we're working with the STEM Alliance and the Mind Trust, and we're negotiating with junior achievement to bring entrepreneurship to the neighborhood. I don't know of another place in the country where a university, out of sense of mission, says we can actually teach and learn and research better and partner with our neighbors. In other words, we're not a little postage stamp of property and people here living well while our neighborhood suffers. We're going to do what we do best to bring things forward. Isn't that an awesome thing that we're doing here? It's going to take everybody's hands at work. It's going to take a lot of help. We just got our first big corporate commitment from AES Indiana, made a magnanimous gift to be part of this. We have others, keep them in your prayers, that will be soon. And we're getting meetings with them, say, how would you like to be part of this transformation of a whole area in partnership with the university and the people in the neighborhood? Crime will go down, investment go up, incomes will go up, properties will be maintained. It's going to be a beautiful thing, and we're doing it walking alongside our neighbors. That's a big one. Should keep us plenty busy. So the journey continues, and you'll remember, I've used it several times on the stage. Your future can be chance or a choice. We've continually made choices. Some weren't perfect, so we had to maybe get out of them or adjust. But it's better, obviously, to choose. Now, we are at a point where we could very well say, well, now we can't because we got LaRue. We could say, let's rest, let's wait. You know, the Latino initiative, we're at 20%. We just boom, boom, boom. We raised a lot of money. Okay, we did that during Christmas break. So we're not going to wait, or rest. We're called to do something with our lives. We want to be this place where you get something done big for the world and our fellow man, right? It's not a chance, it's a choice. We also want to acknowledge change the world's changing, man. You cannot detour it. We can't say, let's stay like we are, and someone tell AI and all these other things, stop, slow down. It cannot be deterred. So, and I will tell you, some university communities, they participate in what I call willful ignorance. This isn't really happening. We can't look. The world's changing. And so we got to work from a knowledge base. Now, once you see what's going on around you, it can put the fear of God in you. It's a little frightening sometimes, isn't it? But we're people of hope. By the way, the Jubilee year the Pope has declared is a pilgrimage of hope, right, Father? I got that. Oh, well, you know another one, and I told you this before, and I've done a little more research. It means it's January. Martin Luther King said, leaders are custodians of hope. Isn't that a neat way to think about hope? And then, of course, there's courage. Matter of fact, in my article here, I wrote about courage. Aristotle said it was the first of virtues. Oh, and I was thinking about courage or bravery. Today is the anniversary of, it blew up. Yeah, the Challenger space shuttle. Do you remember President Reagan got on TV? He said, children, I know this was frightening. And he said this, I think I can quote it exactly. The future does not belong to the faint of heart. President Reagan was a good speaker. Then he paused. The future belongs to the brave. You have to keep pushing the limits, right? You have to have a destination on a journey. We're on a journey. It has to be compelling enough, right, that it will bring us to organize and measure the very best in us. Be good stewards of the gifts. We have a lot of talent. I'm always amazed at you all. I met a couple of our science teachers the other night, leaving happy. Had a great day teaching, and they were going on to their honor society meeting. I thought, how blessed our students are. to have people like that. I can be boring, so I brought a video. This is one of my favorites ever. It's a condensed.
We meet in an hour of change and challenge, in a decade of hope and fear, in an age of both knowledge and ignorance. The greater our knowledge increases, the greater our ignorance unfolds. No man can fully grasp how far and how fast we have come. But condense, if you will, the 50,000 years of man's recorded history in a time span of but a half a century. Stated in these terms, we know very little about the first 40 years, except at the end of them, advanced man had learned to use the skins of animals to cover them. Then about 10 years ago, under this standard, man emerged from his caves to construct other kinds of shelter. Only 5 years ago, man learned to write and use a cart with wheels. Christianity began less than 2 years ago. The printing press came this year. And then less than 2 months ago, during this whole 50-year span of human history, the steam engine provided a new source of power. Newton explored the meaning of gravity. Last month, electric lights and telephones and automobiles and airplanes became available. Only last week did we develop penicillin and television and nuclear power. This is a breathtaking pace, and such a pace cannot help but create new ills as it dispels old. So it is not surprising that some would have us stay where we are a little longer, to rest, to wait. If this capsule history of our progress teaches us anything, it is that man in his quest for knowledge and progress is determined and cannot be deterred. We shall send to the moon, 240,000 miles away, a giant rocket more than 300 feet tall on an untried mission to an unknown celestial body, and then return it safely to Earth. But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago? Why the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone. And therefore, as we set sail, we ask God's blessing on the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked.
It makes you want to come out of the locker room and play a game, doesn't it? Well, some of our newer people may not know this. I think I started a race car, and then we had locomotives. We liked locomotives. And then we went to a big battleship, but that was a little militaristic, so Lindy got me a cruise ship. And then we started showing rockets about Marian. Let's go higher. Let's go higher. So I was remembering this. I've watched this speech, I don't know how many times. That was curated. It was a longer speech. I don't know if you ever want to get a little laugh. Watch LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, behind him, looking around, wiping the sweat off his head. It's pretty, he was like, get me out of here. It was Houston at Rice University. It was pretty funny. So I sometimes, Dr. Britt gave a speech not long ago, and I got, someone videoed it, so I thought it was pretty good. He talked about Marian 1.0. He wasn't around, but he heard the story. In 2001, when we came here, Beth and I, we'd spent a lot of time here. And I always use the metaphor that Marian University had a foot in the grave and another foot on a financial grave and the other one on a banana peel. It was a precarious situation. And we spent 7, 8 years really telling people, this is a beautiful place. Let's take care of Marian 1.0. And that was kind of the first decade of this century, just in rough terms. And it started taking off, and then some board members, and we had friends like John Lecklider and others said, why don't we build a great Catholic university? Most big cities in America have a private university. A lot of times they're religious-based, and they contribute mightily to the welfare of the city. So Marian 2.0, we built a university. We changed our name in 2009 officially. We took Marian College. You can still get those sweatshirts online, by the way, Marian College, if you like the retro stuff. But we said, let's start that. We built a medical school, which some of the room, like Bob Baining and others, remember they kind of laughed about that, they said I think we got accused of being a dreamer. But anyway, we did that, and then we started rolling quite nicely. And then Marian 3.0, we became a national doctoral institution, a national doctoral research institution. And so we have this trajectory where, as Kennedy said, we cannot be deterred. We keep moving forward. So choosing our path forward now. Where are we going? What's happening? Let's be clear with one another. We are going to choose. We're not going to sit around and rest, and we're not going to wonder, and we're not going to live in fear. The pilgrimage of hope, where do we get our hope? Our hope is in God, our faith. We have a calling. We have a responsibility to use these gifts we've been given. A little bit about what's going on in higher ed. I had an interesting experience this year. I don't have my lavalier mic. Our friends at Ancilla, they tell me I have to stand still. Remember, I used to walk around more. And then other people watch it. One of my our board members in Phoenix is watching it today, so I don't want to roam over there. But I was invited to be one of 15 presidents in a national organization to look at the future of smaller private higher ed, and there was a big concentration on the Catholic colleges and universities. And they hired Deloitte Consulting, really smart people. They had a ton of great data. I won't share it all with you because it's a little overwhelming. But the demographics, our chairman mentioned it, the population's down considerably, okay? And in the Midwest and in the East, there's a heavy concentration of colleges and universities, and there's lower. Now, Beth and I and our children, we're not the problem, okay? I don't know if you heard, but in 1 week, just a couple weeks ago, we had 3 new babies that come to our family. So between us and Nicholson, we had like 5 right away. So we don't want to hear any complaints. We're doing our job. But demographics are falling off, 18-year-olds falling off. Indiana used to have 70% kids go to college, 62. Last year, only 53% of young people in Indiana went to college. Confidence in higher ed is way down. Look at any survey, any Gallup poll. And when we're part of that, we have to do something about that. The region's in worse shape. Finances. 40% of private college universities are in fairly serious financial trouble, and they aren't telling the world about it, right? It's not real proud. Hey, my family's going broke. They kind of hold it. About 30% aren't doing too badly, but it wouldn't be much to get them in the bottom 40. 30% are doing well, and about 5% out of that, of the overall, are heavily endowed. Interesting. The median endowment per student in private colleges is $49,000. I was so happy we're in the top. We're not below the median. There was a day where our endowment, by the way, in 2002 was $2.9 million Isn't that interesting? Marian North, some people know as in Notre Dame, they have $1.3 million of endowment per student and about 6% Pell Grant students. We have about 40% Pell Grant students. Welcome to our world. Now, we're happy for them. I'm not jealous. Stanford has $2.1 million endowment per. When I started, there was 29 Catholic college universities. There's 217 now, and there's a number more. The situation then in higher ed on traditional age students, 18-year-olds, is difficult. The socioeconomic status of the students available, not a lot of trust fund kids in this deal. By the way, I'm not against trust fund kids. I'm just telling you, the folks we're serving, a lot of Pell Grant, a lot of folks that need some help to go to college. So in higher ed, there seems to be a rule. No good deed goes unpunished. The more people you serve that really need us to get in the game, be part of society, leaders, educators, professionals, they aren't really going to schools with the mammoth endowments. Isn't that interesting? So that's a pretty good sized challenge for us as we launch our rocket, and that's some more about finances, so it's really skewed. Now, one thing we did learn, the universities and colleges are doing well, are very distinctive. What's distinctive about us? Our relationships, our community, our faith. A Catholic university is dedicated to positively driving and affecting the culture. A Catholic university is a home where you can have a spirited dialogue between faith and reason and different points of view. You maintain the dignity of the individual or we encounter. A Catholic university teaches and witnesses to the faith. Think of Reed. Think of our commitment to the Latino Initiative. Go down the list. Franciscan Institute. There's a powerful message there. A Catholic university reads the signs of the times and responds. That'll make you distinctive. Quality. Here, and Dr. Tran, the more we could work with the faculty and distinguish in ourselves to be excellent in learning. I was so heartened by what we're doing with reading scores. It proves there are ways to organize learning, and the new technology is going to explode where we can personalize learning for every student, can't we? You can have 5,000 students and all have a different learning plan. It's going to change radically. Are we going to be in the middlemost or distinctively excellent? We have to answer that question. I know we're not going to rest. We're going to take learning up to a new level here. That's in the center of our mission. Be a great Catholic university dedicated to excellence in learning. You have to have an online program. There are 900,000 students in Indiana, people in Indiana, mostly adults, 24 and up, with some college. They'd love to have a degree or a new skill. We're a learning enterprise. I think we ought to get to work on that at a new level. And by the way, the schools that are doing these kind of things not only are making a bigger impact in the world, their finances get better. Your finances often match how well you're doing in what you're doing. We will have to continue our commitment to access success because the students available to us, especially in this city, we're going to have to pay attention. They're not going to be education proof. We're going to have to be excellent, and we're going to have to be welcoming, and we're going to have to be engaging and make a difference here. And we're committed to that. Responsive. I should have made that bigger. Students should be capitalized. You know what the excellent universities are known for? Very student focused. By the way, I think we're very good at that here. I interact with a lot of students. They absolutely love our professors. They love our staff. They love our coaches. They know that people are here for them. They very much know it. Creativity. One of the things we're finding is if you want to say, oh, this is what higher ed does, we have to be like that in governance, how we were in faculty, everything, you're in trouble. One of the big things we find a really productive, would we have a med school without partnerships, without community health, St. Vincent Health? No. Go down the list. Would we be making a difference in reading score if we didn't partner with schools? No. You can't be an ivory tower. President Brendan Randolph, President Randolph, is here from St. Mary the Rood College, is on campus today talking about various partnerships. We're talking about some pre-med things and engineering and business things, et cetera. We're talking to Marian University about how we could do better with online and especially earn and learn programs for adults, right? We already do that with St. Joe. We've got to have partnerships. And then if you think you get a little tired of me talking about philanthropy and fundraising, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to get over it. We cannot, no, you just can't. You can't serve a diverse student population as we do, private university, without super magnanimous, deluxe philanthropy. Broad basic giving, and then of course we always try to get great big gifts as well. But that's very important. That's why we're going to have a Fortune Institute and some of these other things. So that's what the 7 things I picked up. The institutions have all or some combination of those things going on well. Our mission responses are said, let's be distinctly Catholic University. Let's dive into that. The faith perspective is very, very important. Let's commit to this excellence in learning at a level like we've never known before. It's going to change, and we're going to be on the cutting edge of it. We have the Klipsch College to chime in. We can all work together. We have a Center for Teaching and Learning Excellence, and we have committed faculty that'll build relationships. I highlighted research here. That's taking hold here. I want to talk a little more about it. We have 3 basic divisions at Marian. I just wanted, you probably know this, but I always want to say it should be very clear. This, oops, what did I do there? Well, okay, I guess. Oh, that's it, yeah. You're doing that up there, Brad? You keep it up. Yeah, see, they did this. Marian University, the research, the brand, it is the rocket ship. It's carrying the payload. Branching off of that, we have to have the earn and learn model that matches the need, the apprenticeship model that matches the need a lot of students. That's how they're going to go to college, and they're going to be on a long-term pathway. The idea that a bunch of people are going to show up here 18 with their suitcase, everything fully paid, and they're just going to go to school till they're done, and then they're going to be happy the rest of life is not the reality of today. Ongoing education, et cetera. So there's excellence learning in a minute, but we're going to have Marian University as we've known it, more traditional, the degrees, research agendas, build up a great brand reputation. That'll help carry this earn and learn for people come in a different way, and then online. Now, does earn and learn use online? Yes. By the way, we're making some progress with Marian Prep, aren't we, Joe? We're getting some enrollments really going with the K-12, selling courses a la carte. We've got to be in all these areas for impact, for revenue, to make it all work. Think 3 divisions. There's Marian. Here's our outreach with earn and learn, new ways of learning, different people come in that way, online for adults primarily, okay? How do we know where to go next? What's our next big deal always? What are we working on continuously? Is there a need in the world? Is our response high quality? What do we need to pull it off and execute, execute, execute? Look at this. Brad, that's pretty fancy, the way you did that. What's our moonshot then? What are we going to do with Marian University? What's the big need in the world? Ted Sorensen wrote Kennedy's speeches. A couple times in Kennedy's, if you watch his speeches, he'll talk about technology and advancement has no conscience. It just happens. A Catholic university being heavily involved in research, whether it be about the environment, how we take care of the earth, how we do energy, how we do learning, human flourishing theme, how do we advance folks, the spiritual part. Technology will just keep moving. Who's going to be a voice, a loud voice, a critical voice in what ought we do? How ought we do it? Who do we do it for? In what manner? You don't hear a lot of that. There's about 150,000 R1 institutions. About 2/3 of them are land grants. The rest are private, so about 50. Most of the privates are secular. There's not many faith-based, using the lens of the Judeo-Christian ethic about the human person, etc., in the big research space. There's an opening and need for this. Marian University can't go about it like everybody else, but I am, and we've had discussions. I'm not announcing this like Dr. Tran didn't know, but we're going to ask for a plan. How do we set out a timeline? What will have to happen to make sure we capture, because we're on track, very much on track to be R2. So there'll be 5, possibly 6, depends how you count the 2 IU camps, et cetera. R1 and R2 institutions in Indiana will be an R2. So we'll be one of 6. Then the moonshot is, we'll be 95 years in Indianapolis in 2032. I would like you to work with faculty, staff, and other bright people. What unique way, what partnerships, what would we have to do, not land on the moon, but to become an R1 institution? What will be our strategy? What will be our purpose? How will we do it uniquely? Who will we partner with? I know what you're thinking, Doc. But I think it'll marshal the best in us. You have to have about $50 million of research, but it's a moving target, I noticed. It used to be 40 million, so it'll probably get tougher. You have to have, what, 60, 70 doctoral type. So we're going to need more doctoral research programs. In this capital city, think on the coast. Take a place like Boston, where Father's from, where they have 9 or 10 R1 institutions. Research is booming, the economy's booming, there's a lot of wealth. So we're a bi-coastal country. This part of the country, we don't have one size pie here. We need to make it bigger, don't we? And Marian University is poised to do it, and we'll bring a different lens and a different focus and a different way of doing it. Will it be a big challenge? Oh, we're going to listen to John. I don't think we need to do it again, do we? I mean, we can email, we'll email you this if you want to keep watching it. He's a pretty good speaker, wasn't he? Some people will ask, you know, how are you going to do this? How are you going to take our university up to this kind of an aspiration? What's the big need we're going to fulfill? How are we going to go about it? Probably not like other universities have approached it over the eons. We'll be very entrepreneurial, very mission driven. One of the things I've been very, very keen on, and I'll say this in closing because I think we're about done, is the power of the M. And I talked a little bit about it last time, done a little more research. I think the oldest continuously operating university is in Bologna, and they use the phrase of alma mater, which means nursing mother, nourishing mother. The power behind learning is so connected to good mothering and raising up of a culture and individuals within the culture. In more modern times, with the mother of Jesus being Mary, I'm sure the sisters, I would have loved to have been around when they decided what to call this college and looking back at other institutions. If you go to Columbia University in New York, they have that, what do you call the fern crown, a laurel wreath around, and they have a mother there with a book in her lap, and she's holding some kind of a mantle. But I didn't know all the universities that latch on to the mother theme. We happen to have it right in the middle of our seal. And we have an M to think about. And the reason I like to think about it is when I watch you all operate with our students and one another, there's a way in which there's such a nurturing, sensitive, every mother wants the very best for their children, for society, our desire to impact culture. That M in the middle of our seal is a great organizing theme for a great Catholic university in a great American city. Outreach, we never give up. We always try to pursue and be that voice of goodness as people learn and develop research and technology overwhelms us and we keep moving. What would my mother say? What's that approach? What's a guy on a battlefield say if he gets shot? Mother. This university has something very powerful behind it. And if you look at the journey over the years, if you look at the journey of this university over the years, we've often said it's a preposterous undertaking. And now we're moving into a different realm where the research is going to explode. We're going to define a new standard of excellence in learning together. And we'll further look back, I'm sure, at these times and said, well, it seemed to be someday when Marian's a R1 institution in our way. It won't be that long before we're R2. And when in our way doing this, and they'll say, how did we do it? It seemed preposterous. How did we do it? It'll be holding on to our values, the values of a university named after our mother, consistent with those values, those persistence of relentless caring and wanting and desire for the very best for each student we serve, for the culture we try to influence, and the future we try to make for our country. I started off highlighting all that we're getting done together. I see Lindsay, our division online is going to be moving. I like the enrollment figures with our Earn and Learn College. Our Ancilla is showing great progress in enrollment movement. Why higher education enrollment in Indiana is down 15%, as Toby said, it's going up. We have what it takes in this room, in this great city, our great board, great faculty and staff to do this, and together we'll do it. Thank you for allowing me to be president with you, and let's go see if we can continue to make a mammoth difference in the world. Thank you very much.